The Pittsburgh Steelers are making a strategic roster adjustment that many fans and analysts have been eagerly anticipating as the team prepares for their highly significant Week 13 matchup against the Buffalo Bills, a game that carries major playoff implications and has already drawn widespread national attention. The organization officially confirmed that cornerback Asante Samuel Jr., who has been a member of the Steelers' practice squad since recently returning to football activities, will be elevated to the active/inactive list for the upcoming contest. This move may appear subtle at first glance, but within the broader context of the Steelers' season, riddled with key injuries, defensive inconsistencies, and fluctuating secondary depth, it represents a potentially pivotal addition at a time when the team cannot afford to bend or break on the defensive side of the ball. Samuel Jr., a familiar name to football fans not only because of his own pedigree as an NFL-caliber defensive back, but also due to being the son of former All-Pro cornerback Asante Samuel Sr., originally joined Pittsburgh's practice squad 2 weeks ago. His signing came immediately after he received full medical clearance to return following a long recovery from spinal contusion surgery, a significant and highly delicate injury that raised questions about both his short-term future and long-term durability in the league. Last season, before the injury derailed his progress, Samuel Jr. managed to appear in 4 games, displaying flashes of the physicality, ball-hawking instincts, and slot versatility that made him a coveted defensive back coming out of college. Unfortunately, his campaign was abruptly cut short, and he had not suited up in an NFL game since that moment, until now. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, known for his candid but measured evaluations of players returning from injury, addressed Samuel Jr.'s progress earlier in the week during a conversation with Steelers on SI. Tomlin emphasized both the effort the young cornerback has put in and the reality that the team is still in the early stages of determining how large a role he will be able to handle. He's been here for a short period of time. He's been working his tail off to not only get in football condition but learn what to do. It's been a good endeavor thus far, but it's too early in the week for me to speculate in that regard, Tomlin explained. While Tomlin refrained from making bold predictions, his comments reflected cautious optimism, something that fits Tomlin's long-standing philosophy regarding players returning from major injuries: earn your role, show consistency, and the opportunities will come. But Pittsburgh's reasoning for elevating Samuel Jr. extends beyond his individual recovery timeline. The Steelers have been dealing with persistent issues in their cornerback room for several weeks. Veteran cornerback Darius Slay, a former Pro Bowl talent with a reputation for shadowing elite receivers, returned last week from a concussion suffered earlier in the season, but he was limited in the snaps he could play. Meanwhile, rising star Joey Porter Jr., whose breakout performances earlier in the season had many analysts praising him as one of the next great young cornerbacks in the league, spent most of this week on the injury report nursing a hip issue sustained during the Week 12 matchup against the Chicago Bears. On top of that, depth corner James Pierre was also dealing with minor but nagging injuries throughout last week's game. Such a combination of injuries, especially to a secondary already experiencing structural adjustments, has made it nearly impossible for the Steelers to find rhythm or consistency in the defensive backfield. Although both Slay and Porter Jr. were ultimately cleared to play against the Bills, Pittsburgh recognized the importance of reinforcing their secondary ahead of a matchup with one of the most explosive offenses in the league, led by Josh Allen. With Allen's dual-threat capability, cannon-like arm strength, and his unique ability to stretch defenses vertically and horizontally, the Steelers know they need all the reinforcements they can get. Adding Samuel Jr. provides depth at a position that has been stretched thin and helps ensure that Pittsburgh has enough bodies to rotate, adjust coverages, and protect against fatigue or re-aggravation of existing injuries. The situation became even more complex several weeks earlier when the Steelers lost Deshaun Elliott, a major contributor at safety, to a season-impacting injury. In response, Pittsburgh made a bold but calculated decision to move Jalen Ramsey, one of the most recognizable and talented defensive backs of his generation, to the safety position full-time. While Ramsey's versatility allows him to excel at safety, this shift left the Steelers thinner at outside corner than expected. With Ramsey now patrolling the back end, the primary outside corner duties have fallen to Slay, Porter Jr., and Pierre. Meanwhile, Brandon Echols, who has stepped into the slot role this season, has shown solid performance but could benefit from additional support and rotational options. That is where Samuel Jr. enters the equation. The Steelers view Samuel Jr. as someone who can provide immediate depth on the inside. While some have speculated that he could potentially start inside if needed, the team appears more likely to ease him into action by placing him behind Echols in the nickelback rotation. After such a long layoff from being in active game situations and still working to regain full football conditioning, a limited role allows the coaching staff to evaluate Samuel Jr.'s stamina, change of direction capability, tackling comfort, and overall health as he reintegrates into live NFL competition. This measured approach prevents overextending him too early while still letting him meaningfully contribute. Additionally, Samuel Jr. is expected to contribute on special teams, one of the most overlooked yet vital areas of NFL roster construction. Special teams coordinator Danny Smith is known for his demanding coaching style and high expectations for discipline, lane integrity, and ball awareness. A player with Samuel Jr.'s athletic profile and defensive instincts can be especially valuable on punt coverage, kick coverage, and return units. Giving him involvement in special teams provides him more opportunities to get reacclimated to game speed, build confidence, and demonstrate his readiness for expanded defensive responsibility. An interesting roster nuance is that, because Samuel Jr. is being activated under the standard elevation rules, he will revert to the practice squad automatically after the game without being required to pass through waivers, something that protects the Steelers from losing him prematurely. However, this protection only lasts to a point. As a former second-round pick with significant starting experience and strong upside, Samuel Jr. is the type of player other teams are always monitoring closely. Once Pittsburgh begins using him consistently on defense or special teams, they may face pressure to sign him to the 53-man roster to prevent another team from poaching him, which is a common risk when elevating talented practice squad players with name recognition and proven potential. For now, though, Pittsburgh is focused on the present, shoring up their defense for one of the biggest games of their season. Samuel Jr.'s elevation may not dominate national headlines, but inside the Steelers organization, it carries real importance. His presence adds flexibility, security, and depth at a position group that has been tested repeatedly this year. As the Steelers prepare to take the field against a Buffalo team fighting for its own playoff survival, every roster decision matters. And whether Samuel Jr. plays only a handful of snaps or ends up being a key contributor in critical moments, this move signals Pittsburgh's commitment to reinforcing every possible weakness as the season enters its defining stretch. The Steelers believe Samuel Jr. still has plenty of untapped potential, and week May 13th be the first chapter in his comeback story. Comment if you think reinforcing the Steelers team with Asante Samuel Jr. is a good decision. Thanks for watching and see you soon.